We are back, Season 4 of the Craft Beer Connoisseurs podcast. I'm Tyler, and along with me are two other hosts and a producer. For those of you who are new to the podcast, we like to showcase breweries, their beers, and conclude every episode with a thematic-ish conversation. If you're a casual listener or a seasoned vet, you know what to expect. Producers continue to change throughout episodes, but the same old connoisseurs will continue to provide top-tier content. Please feel free to listen to all of our previous episodes and producer specials to get an insight into all the breweries and beers we've mostly enjoyed. And whether you're new or returning, we are pleased to be your favorite craft beer podcast. Follow us on Instagram at Craft Beer Cons, send a friend request on Untappd, or subscribe on YouTube at Craft Beer Connoisseurs. Also drop a comment, like, and subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts. Now for today's episode. Welcome to the Craft Beer Connoisseurs. I'm Tyler.
I'm Chris.
And I'm Brett. Along with us today, producer Francisco.
Hello, Francisco.
Hello.
I like how that rolls off the tongue, Francisco.
Do you like that?
Yeah.
Okay.
I wonder if people in San Francisco also think that.
You know what? If I know the people in San Francisco, they probably love that a lot.
Well, they're probably used to it by now, so it's nothing special.
It's true. And you know what we're not used to?
What's that?
We're going to be doing today's episode, but we're not going to be reviewing any brewery.
What?
Yeah.
We're going to be reviewing water instead.
High quality H2O. Yeah. No brewery today.
No, it is our annual tradition, and we'll be reflecting on season 4 of the podcast and talking about things about like our favorite parts of the podcast this season, and of course, our favorite brewery.
And like we did in past seasons, we will also reveal the top beers and top breweries of our 4th season, and we will crown the top beer and the top brewery of season 4.
You guys want to still take a break, or do you want to keep going into it?
Yeah, we might as well just go.
Roll. Let's just roll.
Say less. All right, so today's episode, we are still going to be drinking, just not any of the beers times 2.
No.
So why don't we go around the table here and talk about what we're having today?
Well, it says start with Tyler, so I'd start.
All right, I know that guy. So, today I am drinking a beer from Rorschach, which it seems like we kind of talked offline about this, but we kind of have to go way back to when we actually had them
a while ago,
on the episode, right? Mine is the Afterglow series Hurricane Tiki Cocktail Sour. So looking forward to this.
Awesome. Well, mine's a little bit more recent in terms of the brewery that we featured. It's from Clear Lake, and I'm having the Amber Ale.
And mine's probably one of the most recent ones that we had from Creemore. I'm just having the nice little Witte beer. Producer Francisco going all the way back to the first brew of the season.
Yeah.
Which was like a long time ago.
Over a year ago.
Yeah, back when like dinosaurs were roaming and like, the whole thing like that.
Jesus.
Anyway, he's having the Tesla's Revenge from Broken Rail, which was obviously the first brewery on season 4.
See, what you should have done there instead of going with dinosaurs is you say way back to the times of Tesla, and then you could have.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, Nikola Tesla, not Elon Musk.
We're talking about Brett, though.
Like, yeah, you're right.
I don't know
that.
True. Yeah,
I know history, but not that much history.
The season's wrapped up, but Brett's still the same.
Yes, that is accurate facts.
All right, yeah. So this probably just, I don't anticipate this going our usual 50 minutes. Kind of a bit of a snapshot
a little quicker
of what we did. It was still light on the ears. So, all right. You want to go one by one through some of these questions? Do the same kind of roundtable type thing?
Hey, it seems like that's how we've done it.
We got an order set up, I guess, right?
All right. Do you want me to kind of lead it, or do you want to? I guess technically I led the episode, so maybe I'll just kind of keep going that way, keep it kind of uniform.
Yeah,
let's do it.
All right. I'll start with question 1 then for myself, and then we'll probably do it a little bit more sporadically, but I'll take charge. Favorite brewery we featured. All right. So, I guess because I'm drinking Rorschach, that'd be the one I'm going to go with. And historically, they've had a lot of great beers that I've enjoyed, and I think we've all enjoyed a lot of great beers from Rorschach, right? And I think we did that fun thing with the Rorschach test as well, and put that on our Instagram. Yes. We got some good feedback from people, and it was really kind of a cool engagement series. So I think, from a holistic standpoint of that episode, yes, the beers were good, not to spoil things, but the beers were great.
They were.
Historically, they have been really good. And that was, I think, one of my favorite kind of engagement pieces that we've done on the podcast over the last 4 years, not just this season.
Yeah. No, that's a good pick.
Thank you so much.
Mine was Cold Bear, and for a couple of reasons. Number one, every time I read the name Cold Bear, I said cold beer, for whatever reason.
Stephen Colbert.
No, I just thought it was beer.
I know.
And number two, that was my first episode of this season, because if you'll recall, I was not present for the first few episodes, and so that was the first one that I made an appearance and featured my voice.
And we were so grateful for that. Grateful for that.
Yeah. Favorite brewery we featured was all the ones where Chris wasn't there. No, I'm kidding. I'm actually going to say, in terms of brewery featured, I guess it's not really a brewery. It's more like a contract brewery in terms of the Nine Poets, where we went to Paris and met with Mike and, got all that stuff and got some free swag, because who doesn't like free swag?
Love some free swag.
Yeah, I love free swag. If anybody else wants to send us some free swag, please do. And then for Francisco, kind of because he would be, let's just say, near Broken Rail. Just makes sense, right? Or maybe he just likes trains that are broken. I don't know, because it's in the old train station in St. Mary's. Could be a train guy. I don't know.
Just never know where you're going to go with it. Just
never know where you're going with it.
You're following the track, and then all of a sudden you veer off sometimes.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden you flop your ass in a seat in a brewery, and boom,
there you are.
It happens.
Speaking of such, question 2 here that we've kind of pre-written down. Favorite moment at a brewery for the podcast?
So not a lot.
Yeah, there's not a whole lot to draw on, for sure. Chris, you want to go on this one?
I mean, I would say I personally did not go to any of the breweries for the podcast for this season, so I guess I don't really have a favorite moment at a brewery for the podcast.
Mine would be Schooner Street. It was actually my wife's birthday or anniversary. Not anniversary.
Oh, which one is it?
Anniversary. It was in October, okay? It was in October.
It was your wife's anniversary?
Yeah, no, anyway. It was, I think, I'm pretty sure it was between that time in terms of when we did the day, but just to kind of, like, oh, new brewery, boom, pop in, all of a sudden you're getting, some free tasters, and they're like, oh, you guys do a podcast, boom, here's beers. Thank you very much.
And that was the brewery that's has the membership.
Yes,
right?
Correct.
Yes.
I haven't followed up to see if that's still a thing. I should probably do that just to see if they still got that membership feature.
Yeah, because they were going to change it maybe depending on how it was kind of rolled out.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, this is kind of so yes, but no with Chris. But we did have on the podcast, season 4, episode 4 was Forked River.
Yeah.
And so technically we didn't go for the podcast per se.
Right.
But Chris, you and I have been to Forked River, and we actually promoted the podcast at least 2 times.
That's true. That is true.
At Forked River. So I'm going to go something that's a little bit adjacent to, for the podcast. I would say the last time we were there was probably for the podcast.
We laid the groundwork.
We planted the seed.
Yes.
And then they brought in the closer.
We watered it several times.
Yeah.
And we went from there. Because, I think there was a handful of times that we kind of went there and was like, hey, we're doing this. Let us know. We didn't hear back. Then the next time we would love to do something like that. And then it just didn't transpire. And, yeah. So kind of adjacent to kind of.
I like that.
But still there.
Yeah.
Yep. So favorite moment. Oh, did we, producer Francisco?
Nothing.
Question marks.
Yeah, he's like, this is you guys do this.
Well, and
he just found out about this like yesterday.
I think in all fairness, that goes again to that WhatsApp group.
Yes.
That the information wasn't supplied in time to collate the results from that survey. But yeah,
we'll collect it for next year.
Sure.
I'll do it a year behind. So favorite moment of the podcast this year. I'll start with producer Francisco, and then we can kind of go myself, and then go around there. So the Naughty and Nice from Foggery, where it was the 2 blended cheers of their Highland Ground series. One was, again, naughty. One was nice. It was kind of like the same beer, but with little different adjuncts that were thrown into it, and kind of just the play off of both of them. Myself, I mean, this year, there's been a few moments, right? A few laughs, right?
At your expense, yeah. There's a couple.
My expense. I think the amount of times that I got reamed for bringing the Forked River beers that might have been sitting in the back of my fridge, which was rightfully deserved.
Brought in the closer.
Yeah, I remember I got the Riptide, and the
can was Riptide.
The can was it was.
So the ratings for Forked River maybe could have been better based on suitability of where beer was stored, which I got a bigger fridge now, so we're good to go.
Perfect.
Yes. So
Yeah, we like big fridges.
yes, mine's bigger.
My
garage fridge is bigger. Anyway, Tyler, Chris, which one of you is going here?
Chris, you want to go?
Yeah, so I didn't have any necessarily particular moment, like one particular moment, but what I did like was, like I mentioned earlier, like how I wasn't on the first few episodes. It was nice to
We as well also did not,
it was not, because I did listen to them, right, which I mentioned. It was nice to listen to them and not know what was going to happen. And because I listen to our episodes when I'm on it, but I know everything that happened because I was there, believe it or not. But it was nice to kind of hear the episodes and really not know what to expect. So that was a kind of nice change of pace.
And get yourself a few laughs as well.
Yeah.
Or maybe the whole time you're like, no.
And still enjoy the beers too.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? Like
for most of them, yeah.
All right. Favorite moment of the podcast. Oh, God, I said I was going to do this. So sappy. I think just, again, like the engagement. We had some really kind of cool things, too, with some of the producer specials a little bit earlier on and how it kind of goes. We did Treehouse was one of the producer specials.
Yeah, true.
Brett, that you got supplied to supplied to us, which was
awesome.
Which was a great part. What, you okay?
I'm just saying there might be another one.
Oh, is there?
There.
I didn't even look when I grabbed them from you, but
you saw the one and you're like, nope, not having that one. I was like, yes, you are.
I saw one that's in there. But yeah, I think, again, some of the kind of cool opportunities that kind of have been afforded to us because people know that we have the podcast and enjoy what we do. Yeah. And so having some of those beers, again, we did Spark, was kind of a cool one too, out of Ottawa. So, I mean, that was a little bit of a different episode, but again, beers that were provided to us from our listeners. And again, we do this because we enjoy it, but we couldn't really do it if we didn't have beers from breweries and the support from the community. So, favorite beer of the season.
I'm just going to go with all the ones that were given to us by the breweries.
Oh, wow.
I know.
Okay.
Yeah, it just makes sense. And Trevor brought some stuff too, I think.
Trevor did bring us some. Remember the old Trev's Treats?
Yes.
The Greystone. We had the cider.
Yes.
From out
I
east.
still got one of those in my fridge, actually.
Yeah, the strawberry ciderita.
Yes. Well, my kind of going back to Francisco's favorite brewery, my highest rated beer on the episode was the Highland Ground Nice beer. So I'll go with that one. I remember both of them being pretty good. And then we also got the regular Highland Ground with that we drank offline. Yes. So it was really cool to have 3 different versions of the same beer, basically.
Because obviously, some of the breweries send us other stuff that don't necessarily make the episodes, right? And as behind-the-scenes guys, we just have to make sure that we're tasting the quality product as well.
Quality control.
Quality control. Just got to make sure.
Market research.
Yeah, exactly. So I understand exactly where you're going. Producer Francisco coming in here. In terms of the can art. This guy knows me.
Big can art guy.
The buzzer beater with Jack Armstrong on it.
Yes.
Yes, that was
a good one.
That's a good can for sure. I can't wait till there's a can of my face on it eventually. It's going to happen someday.
Do you think you'd be able to describe that can?
Probably not. It'd be the ugliest can I ever seen. That's for sure.
Okay.
But hey, somebody's got to do it. Might have to pay for it, but still, somebody's got to do it.
It's true. Did you have a favorite beer then?
Favorite beer? Oh, I did. I said every single one of the
So you're going to leave it at that?
Yeah, I'm going to cop out there because I don't want to, give away because there might be my favorite beer is actually going to be the one that's number 1 for the season.
Well, so that's where I was going to go with it too. I was going to say every beer, but I mean every beer was not great.
I should say, can I digress for a second? The only one maybe that wasn't my personal favorite, maybe the least favorite, is when people send us stuff and it's not labeled correctly.
Yeah, that was probably
that's point.
That was an unfortunate
little bit problematic.
Event,
yes. Yeah. Okay. We'll leave it there because I am in the same kind of boat.
Yes.
So your favorite beer was the number one beer of the season?
My favorite beer was one of the top beers of the season. Could be number one. Ooh, suspense.
So we can get there when we get there.
I will definitely circle back on it.
And we'll go to it right after the break.
No, we
don't need to do that anymore.
Just keep it rolling for this one, right?
Yes. Anyway, so we did have some other stuff happen this year. We did have a guest host phone episode.
Yeah.
We figured out we're never going to have a guest host again. Not kidding. But Trevor did step in as a friend of the podcast.
He sat in.
Yeah. Pinch hit for Chris there a little bit because, baseball reference makes sense.
Different flavor.
Yes.
And this helps everybody with kind of the lore of the podcast, In 30 years, when we're a Trivial Pursuit, questions like who was the one guest host in season 4? People are going to know it was Trev's Treats.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
I think that was the producer special.
It was, but I mean, if you're playing Trivial Pursuit and you guess Trev's Treats, I'm giving you the point.
Well,
it was still a treat that he was even here.
Yeah.
And that his beers didn't explode.
Which is why it was funny when Brett's did.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it happens. It happens. What can you say?
Yeah. We kind of alluded to this as well. This was the longest season in terms of time. We've been at this season for over a year. So the premiere was August 10th of 2023.
And you know what? That's on us. That's on us.
It gets busy. Things happen. So
exactly. We all got
it is what it is.
Certain things that are come up. But we're going to be back harder than ever, stronger than ever for season 5.
Yeah.
At least until, for the first, 2-3 episodes. I'll go back from there.
We'll see how it goes. Hopefully we can get some more stability going here.
Yes,
I think we all strive for that coming out of summer season. I think it could be achievable. Obviously we need to find help of our brewery friends. Other things to kind of note, some other stuff. We also did a producer special on non-alcoholics. Do you remember that one?
I do remember that one.
Right?
Fun fact, one of those beers that from that, the non-alcoholics, blew up in my fridge.
Was it at the back and it got frozen?
Yes, exactly. Exactly what happened.
We did. It was Perth Brewery, the IPA, which obviously was the IPA, and then the Play Lager. The reason why I mentioned that is because there was a couple of times that we talked about non-alcoholic beers in season 4, and I gave a couple away to people who didn't want any alcohol, and they still want to have the beer kind of taste. So it played out actually really well for me. Because I wasn't going to continue to have them when I had alcoholic choices. So I went with that. So that was kind of a cool other thing that we did. And we really focused on the March Madness too, remember that?
Yes.
I focused on people's trips as well, in terms of my trip to Dominican and then producer's bachelor party, etc. So
we never followed up on that March Madness bracket to see whether any of us actually picked a winner.
I want to tell you right now that the most winners was picked by me.
Well, we only picked a winner, though.
And that's why it was the most by me.
I'm pretty sure mine was gone in the first round.
Well,
positive, actually.
But we did talk about running our own March Madness for breweries and beers.
Next year,
would be season 5.
Right.
Or it could be
March,
season 5, March 1, March 2, March 3, depending on how long we take to record season 5. Could span several calendar years at this rate.
Here we are in 2047, wrapping up season 5.
God, I hate that for us. All right. What else?
Well, Tyler, you were the only constant on the podcast this year.
And we know why that is.
Well, because we record at your house and you have the equipment.
But, I mean, you have a house now.
I do.
We started season 5 with you not at a house.
Yeah. That's
and now you're at a house.
True.
So look at that.
Yeah, I think the only reason for that is because I'm the only one that knows how to run the equipment. It's not really so much
it
that
doesn't seem like rocket science, but we could probably figure it. Just probably take us at least 1 or 2 days.
Absolutely zero faith in your ability to make sure that this would run Not the groups, just your ability, Brett.
I was going to say, what about me?
I don't know if you know this, but I'm pretty technologically savvy, actually. So I could probably figure it out. Would it be trial and error? Absolutely. Everything's trial and error.
I just think if I set you and Chris down to give you a little tutorial on how to run everything, the retention from Chris might be just a little bit better.
But I think that's more on the instructor than it is on the actual tutorial.
Yeah.
No, but also I kind of pay attention to things as they're going on. I feel like you're just in your zone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why not? It's a great zone to be in.
Love the zone.
Yeah.
Big fan of the zone.
Brett's zone is great.
Just going to stick right in it.
Also, of course, if everyone's been listening, no fives this season. First season without a
Do we
five.
think that is indicative of the season, the breweries, or that we harassed Fife for 3 years that he just did not give one this year?
All of the above.
In all fairness, I mean, I'm pretty sure I am the one who's given not the most fives on the podcast in general.
I'm pretty sure that's incorrect.
Yeah. I think you might be wrong.
Somebody's got to do some research. Anyway, besides the point, there were no fives this year. There was no 4.75s this year. I don't think so. I mean, it is what it is. Part of that, I think, also our rating scales have kind of changed. Getting into this a lot more, there could have been a 5 if you had a brewery in season 2, right?
I mean, I think for myself, I feel like I've kind of have higher expectations for a 5 now, personally.
Which you should.
Yeah.
And I think this sounds so snobby, but I think also taking education on beer even more so, and not just like anecdotally, like, oh, I've had this many beers, so I know a little bit more. It's like, oh, well, we took the Prude home, and it was like, all right, these are the things that we're kind of like looking for. And again, if you're judging things in categories, and producer Francisco would say this too by listening to one of our previous episodes, is that if you're looking at it in a category of a beer, then at least can that beer. So when you go to rate it, you know what you're looking for.
Hard to get a 5 if it's labeled wrong.
Yeah, I think that just season 4 was a very weird year, obviously for us, from personal lives and professionally and the podcast perspective. But like also there was a change in the market and the craft beer industry, and there's been some legislative changes and regulations have changed. We've had breweries close and not so many open up, and there's more of like a, I don't want to say there has been like kind of a creativity kind of like decrease, but I feel like people have now been in business long enough that they've found their own lane.
Right.
And they're sticking to that lane, which is good, bad, and indifferent. But
They've
it doesn't,
got their customers.
but it doesn't allow necessarily for like these like one-offs that you're like, that was a banger and we're not going to see it.
Yeah.
Unless you're like Flying Monkeys and you're talking about, I don't know, a Halloween type beer that they brewed a lot of and bring out every year from the back vault.
Just
that they've had in cans for 3 years.
Shake the cobwebs out. Like, oh yeah, we're gonna use these ones this year. Yeah.
Here's our Halloween brew. Because we've noticed that, right?
Yeah.
Like you've seen the expiration of
I
those
think
things
also
for the
part of it
candidates.
is, more breweries are also getting into the seltzers and the little more stuff because to make money, right? At the end of the day, it's a you're in it to make money. So if you label something as a hazy pale ale or a hazy IPA, people are more entitled to buy it versus, maybe a farmhouse saison where you're kind of catering it to a different market.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. We also featured a lot of newer breweries and smaller breweries, I would say, on the podcast this year.
Which is good because when we hit retirement and we circle back in season 38 plus, then we'll have an opportunity to be like, oh, where are they at today? How's that brewery looking now?
We'll be on somebody's podcast number by then, I assume.
Yeah.
Most of them probably won't be open anymore.
I would say you're probably...
I would hate to break it to you. But
You're probably right. However, keep on. Little engine that could. All right.
Hey.
Well, should we take a small break here maybe? And
I think so.
Yes.
Create some suspense for the best brewery and the best beer. All right, we're back. The moment everyone's been waiting for.
Is this the moment they've been waiting for?
Well, I'd like to think so.
Or what about the next moment?
Well, maybe the moments. How about that?
We'll do moments.
All right. So we're going to start with the best brewery.
Baby.
As we've done in previous seasons, obviously we take the two beers, average them out, and whoever is the highest is the best brewery.
So
there you go.
Before we go on to this, do you guys get excited about this? Because
I do.
It's so like we do each episode as an independent episode without kind of like looking back and
without context.
Yeah, like a historical context, right? And because season 4 we had a lengthier kind of recording time, we sat here offline and we're like, oh yeah, that brewery there, we had those beers. Oh, right. But
there's a lot more of that happening this year. It's like, oh yeah.
Yeah.
Damn, we got them. That's
and
right.
I couldn't tell you, even looking back on our Instagram, which we recommend everybody does, Craft Beer Cons. But looking through some of the pictures and some of the beers that we've had on there, I'm like, that's the beer we had from that brewery, right? 'Cause we've had several beers from different breweries.
We have.
On the podcast. But yeah, like going back and I'm like, okay, yeah, that's the beer we had. That's the beer we had. We don't look at it and like 3 episodes later, like, oh, okay, this one's still better than this one, or this beer was better than that one. We don't do that. This is our one shot. This is
it.
Until this script is written by Francisco, we don't know.
We do not know.
true.
Okay.
Surprise to all of us.
Oh, I love it.
Surprises are fun.
So I'm going to scroll down one at a time so we don't unveil the secret
we really
to
have
each
a
other.
surprise. Yeah. Okay. Sounds good. So we'll do the top 3 for each as we usually do. So we had 2 breweries tied for third when we averaged their 2 beers out using our rounded numbers. As everyone knows, we round up during the episodes, or round down, I guess. So had to go to exact ratings before rounding. Ooh. So number 3 was Wavemaker in Cambridge. So the 2 beers we had from them were Anomalous and Eternal. So their exact rating, when you combine those 2, was 3.8125.
Very good.
It was really nice of that one person to go pick up those beers. I don't know who that was, but boy.
The closer.
Closing deals.
Hey, blowing up beers, closing deals.
Yep.
The closer.
Yep. So our top 2 breweries, kind of like what was third, were tied at a 4.0 for both beers.
Wow. I like this.
So we had to go to our specific craft beer connoisseurs formula.
Yep.
Of exact ratings before
proprietary.
Yeah. It's pretty much math.
Yeah, exactly.
Not a big deal.
And number 2 goes to Rorschach.
Okay. Wow, the suspense. Well done.
Yes.
Well done, the suspense.
I don't know if he said the actual rating for Wavemaker. I was going to say the.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
So it's 3.875 just for Rorschach, just for everybody out there.
Okay.
To know.
And the beers?
Oh, the beers were True Serum and the Jolly Beans Watermelon Candy.
There you go. Mm-hmm. Okay. Number 1.
Number 1.
Let me scroll down here. All right. Number 1 was, and again, 2 brews were tied for 4. So with that formula was Lovebird.
Oh. A bit of a surprise.
A bit of one. And actually, when we go and we use that formula that we've got, Lovebird came in at 4.041. So there was still a decent distance between Rorschach and Lovebird. Actually, it was closer. Wavemaker and Rorschach were almost closer. Right?
That's true.
So the 2 beers for Lovebird were Good Things and Lovely Day, Lovely Day. I remember you sang that. I was
going to say, actually, it's funny because Lovebird kind of came out of the blue, obviously, to win Best Brewery. But in terms of that, their warehouse is near my location of Stratford, which is lovely.
It's a lovely day. It's a lovely day.
And good things came out.
Did you close this one?
I think so. They got dropped off at my house, so I think so.
Oh, right.
But I was going to say that both Tyler and I, because I know you weren't there to record it.
I was not.
We're a big fan of Lovebird. We're actually pleasantly surprised. Like, oh.
Yeah. Yeah, we talked about that because it was like, oh, well, we really haven't had anything from Lovebird. And actually seeing our episode being done, and then I've seen it kind of crop up here and there with other breweries, and we recorded that in the old office.
Yes, we did. Yes.
Yeah, we had a beautiful view of outside.
Yes, there was a squirrel that came through.
It was kind of
right. I remember listening to that.
See?
There you go.
Yeah, it's good that you remember listening to it because that would contradict if you didn't remember listening to it. What you said earlier on about, I love listening, I never know what's coming up. Did you have squirrel on your bingo card for that episode? Probably not.
No, I did not. I didn't keep a bingo card when I listened, actually.
You should have created one.
I should have.
You and your wife should have had one. And like, how many times will the can art be wrong? Plus minus. Like, did your own bag of signs?
But I guess it also depends where you were listening to those podcasts. We're listening. working from home? Were you listening in the car? Were you listening when you're riding your Peloton? Like,
I usually listen to them around 11 o'clock at night, putting my daughter to bed.
Your daughter has a really late bedtime. That's what I got from that.
Well, when she was like a couple months old, yeah.
Yeah, fair enough.
And honestly, it's probably the best content for her to listen to.
Well, I had headphones.
I'd say start them young, but I mean, in terms of fans of us, but that's fine.
Contrary to the content being alcohol, the craft beer connoisseurs is very family friendly. I recommend it for every family of all ages.
We try to watch our language, right? So
we try. Yeah, we do a pretty good job of it.
Some of us are better than others.
That's true.
That's true. All right. Well, the other moments. Best beer.
Best beer, yeah.
You ready for this?
The reason we do it.
The reason we do it. So, things got a little bit complicated on the old mathematics on this one. Calculator was hot.
Francisco was busy.
She was smoking. There were 7 beers that were tied for second with an average, get this out of here, overall rating of around 4. So again, we used that exact number, pre-rounding, to get to these listed beers.
We did.
All right, I will take 3. And 3 is times 2. Do you want me to take those 2?
Yeah,
You take both of them,
Take them
yes.
both.
Ooh, thanks, guys. All right. Tied for third is Blueberry Blonde from Broadhead
Oh.
with Eternal from Wavemaker. So both Blueberry Blonde and the Eternal got 4 exactly. 2 solid beers. We did make a comment again just about the non-alcoholics earlier on. There is a non-alcoholic Blueberry Blonde, and you got to be very careful of that thing because
Labeling's pretty similar.
very, very similar. So you don't want to accidentally give the producer of that episode a non-alcoholic and then also have to circle back and give him an alcoholic one.
Right.
It really ticked them off because we're a PG show now.
Now look back. There hasn't been. I don't even think we had an E on any of our past episodes.
I think the Paris episode probably.
Oh yeah. No, like I'm talking main episodes.
Okay.
Producer specials. We said that's free reign.
That Paris episode still are after dark, even though it was 3:00 in the afternoon on Saturday.
Yeah.
Anyway,
But yeah. So Blueberry Blonde,
Yes.
and Eternal, Broadhead, and Wavemaker.
Nice.
So Broadhead didn't make the top 3 best breweries.
They did not.
But they did have one of the best beers.
and that's one of the
season
things is that
4.
you can still have the best. Sometimes have the best beer, but
Yeah,
second one?
Not always be the best beer.
and that's just it, right? Because it's
You got to bring
the
2
average-
good beers
Yeah.
to be in this conversation.
hot fire.
that is a great observation, Chris. Number 2 in terms of best beer. I'm not going to do a drum roll like what you did.
Do you want me to do it for you?
Yeah, please. But almost like it rolls off the tongue for you. Lovely Day from Lovebird
Oh, nice.
at a 4.16 exactly. Should apparently have been rounded up to 4.25, but we kind of screwed that one up apparently.
Yeah, well, the producer did.
I feel like at this point that we should just be like reading like Ontario Brewing Awards. We should just be like doing that. We should probably get drafted for that this year.
Yeah. Now drafted for the number 1 spot of the Canadian Craft Beer Awards, the Craft Beer Connoisseurs.
We should.
Yeah.
I'm just saying we got to put it out there. We just should. The people need to know.
I'm available that day.
Yeah, I am also available.
I don't know what day it is.
I don't know what day it is, so I cannot say whether
For
I'm
that,
available
you'll
or
make
not.
yourself available.
I will try.
And you will succeed.
So it makes sense that Lovebird had the number 2 beer because they were the number 1 brewery. So that makes a lot of sense. But the number 1 beer of the season was Truth Serum from Rorschach with a 4.25.
Rorschach, you've done it again.
Yeah, it's good. It's good. Keep doing it. Keep doing what you're doing.
Yeah.
All right. Or if you want to send us more stuff, you can also do that too.
Yeah.
Or if you need to come closer to come down there and get it.
Jeez.
Man, this closer guy never knew he existed, but here he is.
Yeah, apparently we have them.
Yes.
Well, that's season 4, best brewery, best beer, and again, kind of a difficult year for us, but I think still a good time, a lot of good memories, a lot of good conversation, good beers, bad beers.
Yes, some bad ones
True.
too. But that's part of the course.
That's showbiz,
Yeah,
baby.
yes, just we're gonna take your beers and we're gonna either like them or not.
But we've always said we will be honest and we'll be candid. And so if we don't like it, we'll say we don't like it. And if we like it, we'll say we'll like it.
And we always provide for feedback to the breweries, whether they take that into existence or not.
Yeah.
Completely up to them. Yeah. Probably most of them don't. But there's probably that one that's like, these craft beer connoisseurs guys. They said that, guys. So we should probably go and put that in there, which means they're going to add lactose. Sure.
Madagascar vanilla.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. Okay. Anything else you guys want to say about season 4?
I think, hey, we finish it. And
you want to do season 5?
Yeah.
You want to dabble in it?
I mean,
see where it takes us?
For the next 4 years? Yeah.
Like, if you guys are going to do it, I'll do it, I guess.
Yeah.
Are you guys going to do it?
Yeah.
We'll do it. If you guys are in, then I'm in.
All right. Well, that's all I need to hear because, I've been wondering, I'm the only constant here. Yeah. Maybe I should just break out and do the craft beer connoisseur.
No,
okay.
No, it doesn't work.
All right.
Connoisseurs needs like a plural. It's plural.
Well, that's why I said
yeah, exactly. Yeah, we want the plural. We don't want just you.
All right. Well, we digress. We'll come back with our farewell.
Yeah.
All right, that's all, but not all just this episode. That's all for all of season 4. Thanks for joining, guys. It was a great time. Again, a long time, but a great time.
Yeah. Thank you for being the only constant. Yeah. Thank you for that. That's great.
Me or them?
Oh, both, I guess.
Both.
I'll take that. So that's going to be it for today's episode. Season 4, we'll be back with the season 5, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Excellent. So thank you from the Craft Beer Connoisseurs.
Yeah, thanks for listening. Make sure to tune in for season 5.
And make sure to tell your friends, family, and your favorite producer, because we are in the lookout for producers.
We definitely need some producers.
Yeah. Might go on Indeed soon, actually.
Yeah. That's not a shot at you, Francisco. So from all of us and that lovely producer, Francisco, I'm Tyler.
I'm Brett.
And I'm Chris, and together we're the Craft Beer Connoisseurs.